What's up, everybody? Dave the Car Guy. You know what time it is. Shop Talk Live, Valley Springs edition. Here with me, another great friend of mine, Darci Watson. Who's Darci Watson? If you don't know Darci, you don't know squat. Darci is a realtor with Century 21, Tri-Dam, which is our area out here. And she is the queen and the reason Dave Tool and Tool's Garage is here in Valley Springs.
Oh, Dave, thank you.
Welcome to the show, Darci.
Yeah, thanks.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Everything's looking great here.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, what got you into real estate?
Well, kind of funny, but my grandma was a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. And I remember just growing up playing with a little calculator with my cousins and my family, and we would pretend we were real estate agents. So I would say probably like 3 or 4, I kind of just wanted to do it. And I've owned businesses before, and I've been in a sales industry before, but didn't really jump into it till about 4 years ago when I really decided to take it on, and I fell in love with it, and that's where I am.
Very cool. So what other businesses were you part of?
Well, I owned a tanning salon, boutique here in town for about 10 years. Saved up my money, opened it up, and I just created an awesome sphere of influence here in town, like locally for the Calaveras area.
For all the tan people.
Yep, for all the people that want to be tan, and also sold clothes and jewelry, and just kind of kept, when the market went bad here during slower times, I just added more things to the shop that I knew people wanted. And then decided with my third child I wanted to kind of have a more flexible career, and stayed with real estate and kept my sphere of influence, so that was important.
Yeah, that is awesome. So, I know many people have heard me talk about entrepreneurial mindsets and all that stuff, but man, this is literally what that means. Someone who goes out and makes it happen. Save up my money, create a service or a product that somebody wants, and when it's not working, I'm going to try something else.
Absolutely.
I'm not giving up, because this is what we do.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. I remember getting into the real estate field at one time, and I was like, because I just want to work on weekends. So how untrue is that?
It's very untrue. So it does have its wonderful perks. Like, I do have 3 children, so I'm able to be flexible around kids' schedules with sports, school, things like that. But at the end of the day, you got to be available by your phone a lot of times, and you got to be ready to jump on something when it comes your way. That's just kind of, you got to wake up every day and hope for the, know that something new is going to come your way and be ready to get it. Yeah,
it's I've been blessed enough to have the opportunity to need a realtor many occasions, because I dance out on the edge of that limb as often as I can.
You like to take a little risks. Yes, you are a risky guy sometimes.
I do that, which is weird. For an introvert, Libra, I take that risk. The abilities, some people just never have the opportunity to buy a house. It's kind of scary, and knowing as many times as I've done this, the right realtor makes a huge difference.
Well, absolutely. I mean, having knowledge of your area and knowledge about loans, and just kind of being able, some people need you to hold their hand and need to be guided through the process. I mean, there's a lot of people that have told me once they've purchased, they've said, I would have never been able to do this, or even thought I would be able to do this. The process would have been so intimidating to me, I would have never tried. So I think it is helpful that you're there for people and that you help them, guide them, hold their hand. It's important,
And I know that's what a lot of people say. I'll be there for you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you. That is not entirely true for all real estate agents. And I'll lead into the story of how I met you. My wife and I were trying to find something out this direction, and we'd been looking for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of set on what we were looking for. We actually found a place. And the realtor that we were working with was the buying and selling representing agent.
I remember this. Knights Ferry.
We weren't super comfortable with that because we truly didn't know them. But we put an offer in on this place, which was a reasonable offer because of what they were asking.
Yeah.
It had been on the market a long time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, guess what happens? Oh, somebody else
Two
is
other
putting
offers?
in an offer now too. So we reached out to you because we actually had plans on the following day to go look at some lot.
Yeah,
that
right.
you happen to be the
Yes,
selling
yes,
agent on. And we opted to not see the lot because we saw this house. We wanted to put the offer on the house, but we were not comfortable with what just happened. And we reached out to you. That's my side. What happened after that?
Well, I'm pretty sure I was in Disneyland on vacation with my family.
Yep.
And I think I was on the shuttle. I remember this like yesterday. And I was on the shuttle on my way to Disneyland when you called me. And I answered my phone and had a conversation. I think we had a 15-minute conversation before I told you I was on my way to Disneyland.
Yep.
And you said, well, let's talk later. But we had a plan to go, see this property or talk more about it and do some more investigating on this property. Because I think the thing is you're a car guy. And I had explained to you that there's a 3-mile road of all solid rock, right?
Yep.
And you were like, oh, that's just not going to work for my cars. Here's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
I think I immediately called you the day I got home. And I think you were scheduled the next day. And we started looking right away and kept looking. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but ended up securing your dream home you're in now.
That's right. And prior to that, what happened was we had contracted with you to be the represent us in this place in Knights Ferry.
Yeah.
Which our offer was strong.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we ended up not getting the place.
Yep.
But what I appreciated was in less than a day and a half, 2 days, we'll call it max, you learned everything about Audra and I. You learned what we were doing to be able to buy this place and what kind of time frames we were needing to have it happen. And
specifications of what you wanted.
Everything delivered. And in the end, we didn't get that property for a reason because there's always somebody watching us. And that property that we put that offer in sold for $300,000 less than our offer shortly after.
Yeah.
So did they really have that other offer on the table?
I don't know. Who knows, Well, I think you bring up a lot of strong points here as far as what it takes to be an agent or to be able to successfully get a transaction moving, because you told me what you wanted, and I think I really honed in on what you wanted and tried to find you something. And I think I remember having the conversation with Audra, and we both had said everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
It is so hard to get a client to understand that when they have their heart set on something that they really want. But I have learned over enough time that when these transactions happen like that, it is really for a reason, because I believe something always better. Either it's less money, it's a better property, it's better located, whatever that fact is, it becomes so relevant when they get the house they actually wanted.
Yep.
And when the one they don't get, it was just meant to be.
Yep.
And I think I remember Audra and I saying it was a blessing in disguise, and what's meant to be will be. And I think we ended up finding your property the next week.
Yeah, we actually were. We were coming up on Saturday, I believe, and Friday night I got a little app popped up a property, and I said, okay, well, it's got that check mark. It doesn't have one of these. It has vineyard on there. Well, I don't know. These pictures are terrible.
Yep.
But you know what? It's we mapped it out. It's the closest. Let's try this one first.
Yep.
And we didn't go see any other ones.
No. Yeah, no. I think the vineyards, the shop, there was a lot of strong selling features. The property, I mean, I knew you were going to love it. You bring up another important thing, pictures. So important to have good pictures. So important because, they bring people to you.
Yeah.
It really does. And I don't think I feel like I kind of kept saying, let's go, please. We need to check this out, because I knew the area and I knew the house.
Yes.
And you were kind of not sold on the pictures.
No,
but once
the
you got
pictures
there,
were terrible.
Yeah,
they were
which
terrible.
It happens,
Yeah.
sometimes it happens.
Yep. So, so Darci, with this stuff that's happening, how has that affected the real estate business?
Well, what's awesome is, unfortunately, the sad part is that we are in a pandemic, right? So there's just unknowns, which is so scary. But what has been awesome for the real estate market is that it's for our area, and I've noticed in all areas, the interest rates went really low. So when the interest rates dropped, we just got extremely busy.
Yep.
And then we are noticing in our area, Calaveras County, that we're getting just an influx of people wanting to come from the city and that want to, move from the city to the country because they're just wanting a different life. Maybe just a little slower pace. Maybe they're wanting more privacy or freedom, and they're coming out this way, and we are just swamped. We're very busy.
Yep.
Our market's just doing amazing. I don't know if that's something that will continue on after this, but I think it's really important for our sellers here to know that it is somewhat of a seller's market, but
Yep.
with low interest rates. So I would say a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah. So the ability for people to work remotely, and in some cases indefinitely, it has opened up the ability to spread out a little bit,
Absolutely.
which is good for people, and sometimes a little bit bad for people. So for an area like this, it's country.
You're recreational
country.
here. So what's awesome here is that we're recreational. So the things that you can actually do right now is, maybe you can't go shoe shopping, or maybe you have to wear a mask out there, but we have 3 lakes here.
Yep.
So we've got boating,
Yep.
kayaking, camping, so we have so many recreational things
Yes.
that it just brings people up here, because once they come, I think one of the things I always do with my clients is I take them for a drive around the lake.
Yep.
And
Which
I
you
get
did.
out and we walk. Yeah, we
Yeah.
take a drive for a lake, and so it always kind of is a selling feature because, there's nobody out there. It's not really crowded,
Yeah.
and so it's more open, and so these are things you're able to do right now. So I think it's making people go, that's what I want,
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want this for your backyard,
Yeah,
So
it's beautiful. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's but it's also scary because I've been coming up here for probably 40 years,
Yeah.
going to the lakes and
Comanche,
stuff with
yeah.
my family, New Hogan,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
So it's nice to be here and live here, but I do appreciate the country and a little bit of the pace and the
absolutely.
the things of that nature. And it's a little scary for some to think, man, if innovation too much comes out here, then that way of life or that can change a bit.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's a weird little balance I feel like
Yeah.
that might be occurring. And
Well, we're always going to have change,
yeah.
right? So
Change is good.
Change is really good,
Yeah.
and I think that as long as you get the people that move up here for the right reasons that
Yes.
understand that,
Yeah.
you're always going to have bad, and you're always going to have good.
Come up here for
And
here.
Yeah,
Don't come up here
Don't
to
come up here and
change it
trash
to
our lakes
something-
and do something.
Yeah.
Bring your garbage. But we've battled those kind of things for years. So
Yeah.
with everything, good comes bad, and vice versa. So I think it's important, but we do try to keep it small, in a way. We try to not,
Small feel.
we'll have a lot of big businesses coming in,
Yeah.
but you are only 30 minutes away. So we're kind of in a really centrally located area, I would say, as
Yep.
far as being able to get to those bigger amenities.
Everything.
We have everything you would need as far as a necessity here,
Yeah.
and including other things that you don't necessarily have.
Yeah, we're close by
Starbucks.
Tahoe.
Yeah.
Close by Lodi, the
Yeah.
wine country.
You're 20 minutes from your shop probably to Costco, 30 minutes on a beautiful drive.
Yep.
So you got to kind of know the good and the bad, right? We don't have commute traffic.
Yep.
We don't have, we have one stoplight in our town.
Yep.
So you don't really have a lot of that busy traffic area,
Yep.
but then we don't have amenities. So it's kind of a give or take.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. We really appreciate. We are really appreciated out here. We appreciate the Bay Area too.
Absolutely.
We have dual citizenship.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Most everybody that I know or that have friends and family in other areas. So
Yeah.
it's really kind of nice that you can come up here, live here, and have your whole life here, but also go visit a mother or a sister
Yep.
or a best friend that lives in a different
another
area.
shop.
Or another shop when you go to work. Or me, like I'm always traveling because I'm always showing houses. So I just make the best of my trips, and I really enjoy it. I love the drive, and
How long have you been in Valley Springs?
I've been here for 18 years. But the owner of my business is my aunt, and she opened up Century 21 in 1978. So our office has been there since 1978, pretty much in that original spot.
Right in the center of both highways.
Yep. So my grandma,
spot.
Yep, my grandma worked there when I was a kid, and she worked there. And it's funny now because when me and my aunt has grandkids now, and my aunt's my boss, the owner of our business. And when I bring my kids in there, and my cousin, her son, has his kids in there, it reminds me of me and my cousin when we were in there. And I told her, I said, we literally played on the same floor as kids, played with calculators and wrote on, we got in trouble for writing on the wall and stuff in her office.
That's how my offer ended up with another 0 on it.
So it's kind of funny is that now we have our kids there. So it's not only are we, we're professional, we have a lot of knowledge and experience, but we're also family orientated.
Very cool.
We all grew up together and in this community and still help and serve it.
It's awesome. So the nursery. The nursery was here for quite some time.
This was kind of like iconic for a lot of people here, having this nursery, because we didn't really have anything. And the old owner, everybody loved him. So it was kind of like people kind of stopped in to chat with him, you know, which I can kind of see, though you're doing a different business. It's kind of nice that you're creating that kind of atmosphere where maybe somebody doesn't have, you want you to fix their car today, but they're going to just want to stop in and see what cool cars you have out here. And, they're family orientated like you are. So you're just going to make friends with so many people like the old owner, just a little bit different business.
Yeah. Different business model. So when we had been looking for a place to call home for shop number 2, we shopped in here at least 50 times before thinking,
That's a cool place. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not this one?
Yeah.
There were some other panic factors involved in that as well, but
again, a risk that you were wanting to kind of take and jump out there and really take, because who knew what this area would how it would.
Technically a town of 300, right?
Yeah.
That's
smart. True. Yeah. So it's like, absolutely.
So now that it's Tools Garage, what is your sense? Do you hear anything around town at all about the shop?
Oh, everybody loves you guys. I've just been hearing nothing but good things. I'll randomly, even people that I haven't had a chance to refer yet, they'll say, oh, did you see the new place, Tools Garage? I took my car in there and they fixed this or that, my motor home or this. And I'm like, yeah, I love those guys. And they say nothing but great things about you guys too. So cool. And they've all mentioned, it just kind of feels like family there, and I'm like, that's exactly what our community needs,
That is great.
And know that not only you're going to get good quality service, but honest, and because one thing about this town is as quick as they'll love you, they'll quickly be upset with you if you aren't doing good business, because we are a word of mouth community. More than any type of advertising, your worst and your best advertising is going to come from word of mouth.
Which honestly to me is what the playing field is all about.
Absolutely.
There are talkers and there are doers, and I believe in just do it. If this is what you're going to bring to the table, bring it every single day. And if you falter, faltering is different than BSing.
If you make a mistake and you own it and you're willing to make it right, then hey, nobody's perfect, and you're not going to please everybody. Just like I know that you don't please everybody, but at the end of the day, what your effort and your heart is what you put into it. And if you can kind of go to bed every night and go to sleep and say that you did an honest job and did the best you could, then that's all. If somebody expects more than that, then that might be on them.
That's right. I mean, I firmly believe that the measure of a good company or a good business or a good independent is not how they do their job, but it's how they respond to the mistake, because it's going to happen. And that is the true definition of the character, because the rest could be an act. Hey, it's how you respond to the mistake that you'll find out, is that an act or are these people real?
And every transaction for me is so different. So that's one thing I've learned is every time I'm doing something, and I have agents that I've worked under that have been in the business 20, 30, 40 years, and they'll tell me, hey, I'm learning. I'm still learning. So, because I'm always going to these veteran agents for advice or their opinion. And I mean, there's nothing I really do. If I couldn't handle it, I always make sure that I have a sounding board,
That's right.
And they always tell me, no matter what, Darci, you're always learning. So that's important in this career.
When you think you're the best, that's when you end up
start to fail.
Yeah. So let's check and see if we got any questions from our 14 zillion followers. Zillion, is that enough?
Yeah, who has some real estate questions?
Audra Del Carlo, I don't know if you know her.
Oh, I don't.
She says hello. And
hello,
she says,
Audra.
hello, Darci. And she says the nursery looks really great in the background.
Nice.
Yeah,
Audra, how
awesome.
does my hair look? Because you didn't comment about that.
Come on, Audra. You know it's all about the hair.
She just closed us up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, how about my hair?
Yeah.
And I got the Rona do going because,
The Rona do, yeah. Hey, so many guys do.
Illustrious, governor
We're
closed
going-
it down again, and now I'm
We're
right
going to so
before I
many
was ready.
places, and it cracks me up because you just see men now with these like beards and hair, and they used to not. And I said, well, the good thing is a lot of them aren't having to go into an office and work. At least they can look rugged from home.
Yep. I've cut my hair. I've had Audra cut my hair a couple times already because it grows fast. And I look like a chia pet.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to feel like I got a mullet growing.
Hey, they're in. Mullets
Yeah,
are so
yeah,
in,
I
and
don't-
I think those bowl cuts are getting in too.
The bowl cut.
Audra says your hair looks great, by
Thank
the way.
you, Audra.
Denise Smith McGee.
All right.
Says hello. Serena Palumbo's watching.
I love you, Denise.
What's up, Serena?
We do have a question.
Denise, you're the
and,
best.
Yep.
What are you hearing of feedback of people moving up here versus being in the Bay? Are they happy, or is there an adjustment?
So the
period?
buyers, how are buyers' responses? I think that you're going to get those people that absolutely love it here, and then you do have those people that are in an adjustment. What I would say is the people that are younger, like the younger families that are moving up here, it's a bit of adjustment for maybe, a stay-home mom who is used to having things, amenities. Oh, I need to go get a pair of cleats for my kid for soccer. Okay,
Yeah.
I got to go 30 minutes or 20 minutes away to do something like
Yeah.
that. So it is an adjustment, but like I said, what I do with that is I just make the best of my time. When I go to Lodi for a doctor's appointment or something, then I, make sure I do my shopping for some things there too.
Yep.
But I notice the older crowd that's maybe retiring or something like that, they're really just absolutely love it because they're wanting the quiet and the peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's an adjustment, but I think it's all manageable.
Yeah. So what you don't know about the Bay Area and what I have the privilege to have learned is you look on the map and we got to go drive 25 minutes to Lodi, but if you
Traffic.
are in the Bay Area, maybe not so much right now, but for years, 25 minutes got me from my house to an area called Foster City, which was where our little restaurants and stuff were, and it was 6 miles away.
Yeah.
So it's relative.
Yeah.
It was less miles on my vehicle, same time.
Well,
on my vehicle.
one
and
thing,
honestly, less stress.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that one thing about the Bay Area vibe in general, though, is you to me feels like very strong people. It's like a strength because when I go there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this traffic, and it's hard because we're not used to that, right?
Yeah.
So I noticed that the strength there, and I noticed that there's a lot of awesome communities in the Bay Area too of people that love it and love it there, and they say to me, I could never live up there, I'd never do it, but they love to visit and love to go on our boats, and hey, we want that too. We want just visitors here too. We love it, and because we visit there. We like to go visit San Francisco.
We have both. We get the dual citizenship, the ability to live in both places, and they both have great things about them.
It's a blessing for you guys to be able to do that.
Yeah,
it really
it's
is.
fun, and it's just different.
Yeah.
The Bay Area and the peninsula it's a growing, booming metropolitan area, and it used to feel like this. I was born and raised out there.
Yeah,
so
we're thankful for it, to be honest with you. We really are, because that flourishing over here for us is amazing too, because yes, definitely, it kind of rolls this way too, and so that's important for us.
brings up the values out here, and the trickery, which in the history of mankind, the trickery is try to keep it the same, innovate it, and there are areas that really it should try and remain to feel the same with ties of innovation in there, because it's the complete innovation change that changes a lot of stuff. Like our Bay Area it's kind of like San Francisco-ish, right? It used to be like this. There was, Belmont, San Carlos was very
smaller orientated.
I grew up in South San Francisco, and I used to drive to the country, which was Belmont. Sounds stupid now, but that's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
I used to come up here as a kid this was like I remember going through.
This felt like isolated or something.
It was. You're gonna laugh at probably the town name, but we would drive through and then we would hit Waterloo, and I'd be like,
best ribs in town, by the way.
I'm gonna live here someday. That's what I kept saying.
Wow, really? Well, when
yeah.
you go to Waterloo and the restaurant, they are the best ribs. We're just gonna throw that in there. I don't know.
The Waterloo restaurant.
Yes.
You know what? And I have not been there.
Best pesto and ribs forever.
I heard that.
On our way in, we saw this huge line that we see every single time. Is that it?
No.
Were you at Lockford Meats?
That's
maybe?
Lockford Meats.
Okay, so Lockford Meats is like a world, it's
World
renowned. So I remember going there and waiting in line with my grandparents there when I was a kid and younger, and so that's just kind of like a small area of sausage, and it's a meat. It's
sausage,
a meat
bacon, it's pork.
Yeah, it's
world renowned.
Yeah,
like
it's amazing.
I've had people in meetings that are in different locations, not in California, that know of that place. Wow. I never even heard of it.
Same with Waterloo, though. Waterloo's on the other side, but they have world famous barbecue sauce, like their own barbecue sauce that you could buy, and it's just amazing. And it's just a little tiny town, and the people still live in that town to this day, and it's just kind of cool that we have those. And I'm sure those are things everywhere. Like we have the gold rush up here, so we have, I actually think I have a listing right now that's on 17 acres, but it was an old mining house, and it still stands from 1864.
Wow.
And the walls and the wood and everything is original to that era. From originally built, and it still stands to this day. And I think every time I go there, they don't make brand new houses that would still stand over 100 years.
No.
And
they used big wood back then.
And it is, I don't know, 3 miles from a famous gold mine, and that is still there, but obviously not active. And it's just this beautiful area that people have heard of, and it from other areas, and it's kind of amazing to me when I see our little community that people know of it as, we have a lot of Indian background here, and kind of cowboy Indian Wild West type situations here still.
Horses cruising around on the streets.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Absolutely.
It is crazy.
Yeah. So it's kind of got its own little feel, and there's lots of, I get a little upset when people say they want to move out of California, and I understand the costs are high, but I also feel like California is so amazing and has so much rich history here. And I think of this kind of place, and I think of if you came here, you wouldn't want to move. You could still be here and be in California for relatively inexpensive. This area here is still one of the communities that you can get a home in for inexpensive. I mean, we have homes that are $300,000, which is unheard of in the Bay Area.
Right.
But we have a lot of families that live here and commute to the Bay Area because it's worth it, you know, and you get a lot of the country feel here and still get to be in the best, I think, weather across the world, I would think.
I fully agree with you. I think that people want to move out of California, unfortunately, not because of the actual California.
Yeah.
It's because of different reasons.
Yeah. But if you find an area like this, you have more people that are possibly like-minded.
Very, very true. Very true. This being a beautiful country, and we actually happened upon this because for us, as we probably mentioned to you, Otter and I, our topography, the stuff that we wanted to see every day was rolling hills and oak trees.
Yep.
Not pine trees, even though I love Tahoe. I love that look.
Yeah.
I just don't want to live in that look.
Yeah.
For me, it's just not my thing.
It's like the Sierra foothills is what really attracted to you, was this foothill area, more than...
before it. It's like a small little section, like flat, rolling hills. Pine.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah. And we got lovers of even the pine that want to be, that are here already currently in Valley Springs, but want to be in the pines too and want to get a little bit further. So what's really cool is that we have things that are further up if you want to go further up, for even less expensive to be more remote if you want. So those areas still exist, homes on 40, 50, 100 acres, Yeah. They exist.
That's off to them. We have 10, and man, I already know
that's a lot of work.
I know. Take care of that. So Valley Springs, what's in our area that people wouldn't imagine? Like, Jackson is 35 minutes away. We got Lodi. We have Plymouth, which is the Shenandoah Valley.
We got Murphy's,
Murphy's. Yeah. What about us? I mean, how far away is Tahoe?
We're 2 hours from Tahoe. relatively 2 hours, depending on kind of where you are in Valley Springs, Burson area, right?
Yep.
Because you're kind of more, east or west, I guess, than the other areas. But you could be to Tahoe in 2 hours. Beautiful scenic drive up Highway 88.
Yep.
On the way there's all kinds of different cute little spots you could stop at for food and just to look at things. We've got like Daffodil Hill up in Amador County, and we have the McCallamy River, which is beautiful in different areas. It stretches.
So how do you pronounce that? I know how to pronounce it, but I laugh every time I hear people try and say that word.
Yes, because they say Mokalami or
Mokalumi.
Yeah. And if you try to say it to a talk text, it for certainly doesn't come out anything like you said. But yeah, no, we definitely have cool areas. Right here in Valley Springs, like I said, I grew up coming here as a kid and pretty much, grew up here off and on spending summers with my grandma and my family. There was only 500 people here. And now over the course of, 40 years, we've got to about 5,000 people just in our little Valley Springs. And then you got Burson and Wallace, which are out areas. So we have in Calaveras County, beyond Valley Springs, though, we have like Columbia State Park where you can go gold mining. And we have
Just
the most
neat.
Beautiful caverns. I don't know if you guys have ever been to like Mercer Caverns or seen anything like that, but we have caverns where you can zip line in them, and we just
super cool.
Yeah, really cool. So it's what it is it's not a TV show, and it's not a it's not a ocean. It's not a big city, but it is
It's hotter
nature.
than Hades at times.
Yeah, it's very hot, and we're brown right now. I was just telling the guys, I said, hey, if you guys were to come up in the spring or fall, you're gonna just love the way it looks.
Beautiful.
This is normally a harder time of year to come up here, especially for showing property, because they come and it's brown, and we try to tell people, hey, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
But you have what you
I don't
have
mind
here is, like I said, recreational and nature. You just have so many different aspects. I mean, I with my kids, every day we could be doing something different. We could hike to Natural Bridges, which is a beautiful area in Angels Camp. We can go to Murphy's and go have, me and the adults can wine taste. And there's a beautiful creek that runs right through Murphy's where you can have lunch with the kids and ice cream. So, I mean, literally every day here
Another
you
lake.
could. Yeah, and every day there's literally something you could do here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. One of my fellow colleagues, he's like, I automatically presume people have no idea where Valley Springs is.
Right,
Because they call it Spring Valley, all kinds of things. And I'm at a group, and a fellow California shop owner, and we're talking. And I said, well, because I live in Valley Springs. And he's like, that's God's country.
Aw, how
like,
sweet. Yeah, that's
cool.
awesome.
At least he knew about Valley Springs. I fully enjoy being here. I do. I love being in both places, but man, it easily became home.
Yeah.
For me, because it brought back my roots of how I grew up.
Yeah.
With my family on the lakes, and that meant a lot to me.
Well, and I think
out.
you've brought a employee that works here up here, and he was from the city, and him and his wife, and they've came up here, and your stepson, Bo, lives up here. And so I think what's awesome about that is I've asked them, like, how's the community, taking to you guys? Do you feel welcome? And everybody, your clients that you've sent me have said, I'm so happy here. Like, I've just felt very welcomed. And that warms my heart to know that our community is so welcoming to people, because a lot of us are from other areas.
Yeah.
And we're seeking the friendship and the kids' play dates and the fun things to do, because we all know that we're transplants in a way too. So it's kind of nice to have mutual friends. So I know there are some areas where people could maybe be
you get the name.
your
Flatlanders
Flatlanders
or
city people.
Yeah.
And we're going to have that here too, right? But at the end of the day, I think that the overall majority of the people are amazingly welcoming. And I absolutely love serving this community and being a part of it. I have, my daughter grew up and went to school here her entire life. And the kids that I still see, the kids that she went to school with, that work at our different areas, and I love watching them grow up in their families, and they feel like they're my families, my kids, I mean, my daughter is going to be 21, and she's got friends that are 23, 24. They're getting married and having babies, and it's just, it feels like they're my kids, It's just so crazy. Amazing that we have this in this community is just outstanding.
It's been for us. It's been wonderful. When we first came up, and before we even broke ground on construction, I had interviewed a couple of technicians that were super excited because they drive by this place every day for their commute into work.
Yeah.
And I figured we're going to start up here. I know Bo was already working on trying to find a place with you. He was going to be our guy in the front. We're going to have 2 technicians. We're going to start this thing off, and we're going to do what we can, help the community, build business, and we got a walkthrough for our temporary use permit. We're still waiting for a couple things to happen. They said everything looks good. You have a permit to operate, a temporary permit to operate. So we went out and put on our little sign up in the front, open. 5 cars.
Yeah.
5 cars came in, and it has not stopped.
Well, I think that having a good face for your business, like somebody that when people come in, they have somebody that is welcoming and makes people feel that way. It is so important. And I think that Bo, we didn't talk enough about him yet, but Bo's been an awesome,
fantastic
person for your company because not only is he knowledgeable, but he's so welcoming and he just makes everybody feel like, while people are waiting, they don't feel bored because they have someone to kind of talk to and, I think that's nice. And that was one thing I felt like when I owned the tanning salon, sometimes people would have to wait for a bed, 15-minute wait. By the time they were done, they'd let people skip and continue to talk to me. They didn't end up tanning because we just had such a good time communicating, and I've made some of my best friends. Both of my sister-in-laws were previous clients of mine, and they're like my best friends, that we're family,
and
that's so important.
No idea how it feels for us because we have people that are 2 and some odd weeks out.
Yeah.
And we are like, that's not acceptable for us.
Yeah, you want to be able to.
I feel like they're kind of used to it a little bit, but that is not acceptable for us. So
I think people understand though that you're new, so you are busy, and it's we're busy because our community is growing too, so you're getting a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think that people will be understanding if you do a good job and do right by them, they'll continue to come back and don't mind waiting 2 weeks.
Yeah, they've been. We are doing what we can though to eliminate that 2-week marker.
Absolutely.
We hired another technician that started last week.
Great.
Week prior. My shop foreman Francisco has been. We've had the ability to have him where we need him.
That's awesome.
And he lives up here anyway, so we pretty much have four technicians running in the shop right now, helpful. And we're trying to play a little bit of catch up because we had no idea that we were going to need
the response would be so great
from the get-go.
Well, that's awesome though. I mean, right? That's a contest to the risk that you took is paying off. And, I think everybody's going to understand there's times for me when I'm handling so many escrows and I'm just, got to stay on top of it because you want to give everybody, you want them to feel like they're your only client, know, but also when I am honest with people and say, hey, I'm sorry, we're just so busy. We have this going on, but I'm going to be on your file as long as you're responsive to them and just be open with people. I think that they're understanding. I think the hard thing is when someone doesn't return your call or they're not communicating with you or doesn't answer, then they kind of they're not going to, no matter what you do at that point, they're not going to want to do business with you, you know? So communication is so important. Yeah, and as long as you continue that.
You've actually gotten an opportunity to bring your vehicle in.
I love it.
How was the communication that
wonderful experience? Yeah.
Good.
I've had I think my husband brings in all his fleet of trucks now to you guys, which was so amazing for them because they have certain kind of vehicles that not anybody can work on. Big vehicles. Big. Yeah. And because they're a local water well business up here, they're bringing water to the community. They got to be in service at all times, and so they were really impressed with the vehicle and how quick you got the turnaround and that you were able to work on it because they would have to drive 30 or 45 minutes to get their cars worked on.
Yeah, good.
Well, so they were very happy too. So
our goal is to make sure we can service anyone who wants us to.
I noticed you even have a boat out there.
Yeah, we've done a couple boats.
Awesome. So hey, that's another thing. Let's put that out there. You do boats because we're a boating community.
We're a boating community. Give us a little time.
Yeah.
We're playing catch up right now. But yes.
But in the wintertime, that might be a good time to bring your boats in.
Exactly. We've actually did an emergency battery replacement for someone camping in Comanche.
Awesome. What about motorhomes? Do you guys do? I noticed I had a friend had a motorhome here too.
Yeah, there was a couple motorhomes here already.
Yeah, see, so being like an all service is going to definitely bring a lot of business to you, you know?
That's part of our drill. You know, maybe that's why we run a little lean on people sometimes, because it's important for us to have that right ingredient, the right person, because we are here for people.
Yeah.
You know, we're here in the people business. I just make sure I have, and Bo has, people that can do what we need to do. And in the end, it's always about taking care of the client.
Well, in some ways, it's kind of an old school mentality that's kind of crossing over, because I notice now with everything being so technical and so technical driven and the media driven, that it's hard for you to get that social interaction with like a business owner or something. So I feel like even me, when I have clients, they're always telling me, well, I was working with this agent, but she told me to go drive by the house, or she told me to call this number, or she told me to go look. And I love when clients look at homes and send me things, but I also like to look for them, and I like to represent them at every house they go look at. And
we actually were part of that process. We've looked at many houses with you, and there was a time that we were like, you know what, I can't make it up there. Plus, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like that long road of rock to get there, because I'm a car guy.
Yep.
But you went anyway and took video footage of everything. Hey guys, we got this, we got that. Here, check this out. This is cool.
Even Cooper, I think I might even caught my son peeing behind a tree.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're like, all right, cool.
Here we
got
are.
a tree.
We're in the country. We're in the country.
We got a tree that we could use. That's awesome. So Darci, how can people find you aside from the multitude of people that we send you? How can people find you?
Well, I do have a website. It's darcisellshomes.com, just like that.
Darci with an I.
Darci with an I. Darci, and then it's sellshomes.com. So we have that, and I can leave, like my phone number or something at the end of this, or whatever.
We'll do that. You on Instagram?
I am on Instagram too, Darci Watson, and I'm on Facebook, Darci Case Watson. So you should. I'm not too hard to find. I've had random people find me before, so. Yeah. Not just Calaveras County, but also Tuolumne, Amador, and San Joaquin are my strong areas. So it doesn't just have to be Valley Springs, it could be Jackson or further up, or any of those surrounding areas. Valley, I love the Valley. I'm from the Valley, so.
And commercial too. So
yeah.
That's a good mix to have. That's awesome. All right, let's just check one. Any last questions before we wrap this up?
A couple is we have how's the housing market up here, and how's it looking in the near future? Are we seeing more Bay Area transplants, or just people from different parts of the country?
The market right now is great. We need more listings. Really, honestly, we just can't keep the amount of listings that we have. Just so many people. We don't have enough listings. I was just checking to kind of see the median house pricing right now is about $365. That's kind of what the houses are going for. And we're finding things moving in less than 30 days, quick on the market, and quick turnarounds. If you're priced right, you'll sell quick right now.
Yeah.
But if you're in that $350 price range and under, you're going to be pretty quick. It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Future-wise, it's always hard. None of us have a crystal ball. It's just one of those things where, everything depends on the interest rates. If we got low interest rates, then we got, a lot more buyers, and housing prices obviously depict that. So, but yes, we are seeing a lot of, not just Bay Area, I would say we get a lot of Valley. The Central Valley, we're getting a lot of Modesto, Manteca, Stockton, Lodi, because a lot of those people work in those areas, and this is like a 30-minute commute. And going back to the conversation we had, a 30-minute commute with no traffic could be, great compared to a 30-minute, or, that takes you 30 minutes and it's 6 miles, right?
Yeah.
So people are moving up here a lot from the Valley too. Sacramento, we're getting a lot of, I think I was just kind of looking it over at where my most solds were from in the last say 10 escrows, and I've got a lot of Sacramento and Central Valley. So we're loving having those people up here. We really are. They're our neighbors.
As firsthand, there are not just 300 something houses either.
No.
There's some million dollar properties in here, and
you
then
have
some.
$1 million property on a lake, where you have Or we have property right now, bare land on the McCollum River and on the Calaveras River right here, where you can, build your house and have fish every day that you want. Or,
And but I will tell you, attest firsthand, the houses that come on the market and they're priced right, they are gone.
Yeah,
they're gone because ours went on the market and we bought it the next day, right? So it was technically on the market.
Well, you're in a that area is very desirable because of what it offers. It's, the more west you go through Valley Springs and Burson, you're going to get more flat land. So it's a little bit flatter with background hills, but you have a little bit more usable land, and it's so desirable because of how close you are to the Central Valley. You could be there rather quickly, so it's kind of nice.
We didn't know that.
Till
now we do, but once we've moved here and we've had our friends that we've referred to you, we're looking at, they're saying, oh, this one looks great. And I'm looking and I'm like, that one looks pretty awesome. You better jump on it. And they're like, well, we're just looking out. And then pending. Yeah.
It's been exciting helping some of your friends and your family, because they've all bought in different areas, so you kind of bought down here on more property, and then, Bo and bought in a kind of a different area on a little bit of property, but still kind of more centrally located in Valley Springs. And then your employee who bought in La Cantena, which is also an awesome area because it's a golf course community. So, I mean, he bought in a golf course community, but he has an acre lot, so he's got a nice big lot where you're not really close to your neighbors. I think people's first assumption of living in a golf course community is that you're going to be so close to, your neighbor. And there are those homes like that.
And the HOA of, your mailbox is out of regulation by 3 inches.
Commercial or whatever, we don't have that, so it's pretty. It's not super strict or anything, but you got like-kind homes, but you have acreage there. You get half acre or acre properties there,
which isn't bad. Which as a city guy, I'm gonna tell you right now, Audra and I had our conversations, and we were like, we got to go spread out. We're getting an acre. We're doing an acre.
Yeah, an acre.
And we came up and we saw our first acre and we're like,
wait, we need more than that.
That is big, but not at all what I thought an acre was. That's just how.
Well, and then you have some people that come up here and an acre is just a lot to bite off, especially if you're used to this, little tiny square lot, and you're used to somebody coming and doing your grass and lawn for you or whatever. You're used to that. Up here, you have to kind of be prepared that you're going to have to do some weed eating and you're going to have to do some mowing and take up
a lot
and watering. But
there's lots of weeds, and I'll tell you, I'm in the process of building a fence around our little. We have some fruit trees over there, and we're planting some other little gardens. And God, it's a huge fence, man. I set all the posts. I'm still building it all, and I did the math on it, and I go, Audra, this garden is our front yard, our house, our backyard in Belmont.
Oh, what funny. That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, what? I built a whole fence all the way around our whole property in Belmont, which...
That's awesome. What's also kind of cool, I think, is have you guys woke up and had like deers and
we
wildlife
have all
in your...
kinds. We have our regular turkeys. We have owls on our bluff. We have our red-tailed hawks that cruise around. There are some coyotes on the bluff back there. We have turtles in the creek.
Yes, that's so cute.
We have blue herons, white herons. We got the Canadian geese. So
we have a strong bird community up here. I've noticed. I didn't even ever really realize it, but out at where my in-laws live, where the water well business is, we're out there, and I'm just seeing this strong bird community because they have a pond. So we get, like you said, the Canadian geese. They've got an owl family or something over there.
Yeah, we have 3 owls on our bluff.
And now even at my house where I live on a half acre, but I'm starting to recognize the deer. Because there's 100-acre parcel that lives over by me, and I start to see these deer coming through, and I'm like, hey, you were a baby, and now you're getting to be a big buck now. And so we get you. That's another amazing thing about our community is, I don't know if you get that often in the city, but you literally could wake up and there's going to be a mom deer and her babies just right with her. And
we've seen really the turkeys being born and running along with mom. And it's funny, when we first moved in, we put game cameras up everywhere because we were pretty convinced there was lions and tigers and Sasquatch.
Bigfoot.
We were freaking out. It's dark, and we had
I think you have a
no
cave
idea.
at your house, don't you? Some kind
There's
of cave?
a couple of overhangs, yeah.
Well, we
so
actually
it's
have a
pretty cool.
disclosure in our office, and one of the disclosures is like you're in the country, and there's going to be snakes and
Yes, there are
wildlife out here. So we kind of do try to prepare people that aren't
Yep.
used to that kind of way of life. That
Yep.
But I mean, at the end of it, those are things that you can kind of just prepare yourself for. That's not something to be scared of or deter you. It's just more to prepare.
Yeah, and it's what makes this place.
Yeah, because there's snakes in all kinds of forms.
Yes.
But at least here, it's
There's
a little
some
bit
scary
quieter.
ones, which I've come across,
Yeah.
and then there's some kind of cool ones.
Yep.
But yeah, it's country, and
just
it should be.
Yeah.
That's why we moved here.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't move here to make it Belmont or San Carlos. It's country, and we are totally fine with that.
It's all about learning. I tell my kids, use your senses. So not only are you looking, but you're hearing for things too.
We
When
have
it's
donkeys.
night. Yeah.
We have donkeys next to us.
Oh wow, that's fun. Yeah.
Super, super cool.
So we have
Every morning,
coyotes.
5:30.
They wake you up more than a rooster.
They're awesome. So, Darci, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up
Yeah.
because I know that you are a busy, busy woman,
Yeah.
and I do some stuff too.
Okay, no, just kidding.
So, again, people can find you,
Yep.
darcysellshomes.com.
Yep.
Your
On
Twitter
Instagram,
is...
I don't do Twitter.
I mean,
I don't
sorry,
have Twitter, but I
your
do have Instagram and
Instagram
Facebook.
is
WatsonFam5.
WatsonFam5.
And then my Facebook is Darci Case Watson. And
Darci Case Watson.
we also have a Century 21 Tridam website too that you could check out listings on.
Yep.
And
that one needs a little help. I'm going to throw that out there, whoever's doing that.
so yeah.
Good.
Not me.
Good. So, Darci, it was an honor to have you
Thank
on
you.
up here. I know we had Gary as our first guest because
He helped you build this place. I love it. He did a great job.
We were like, hey, let's have him up here right now. So,
cute.
but you are our first official scheduled superstar.
Really? Well, that
on
makes
Shop
me feel
Talk
great.
Live in Valley Springs.
Well, hey, that warms my heart to know that I got to be a part of it this way.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Darci, it was a pleasure.
Yep.
And
Pleasure.
I'm Dave, the car guy.
Yep.
Signing out.